Brodes Media.
To say I was sweating would be doing it a disservice. There was water pouring out of every single part of my body. Under my armpits, soaked. Underneath my head, soaked. In my ass, soaked. Because I didn't know if Jose Alvarado was going to get out of that jam. I was getting scared because every single time I demanded one of my relievers to get a shutdown inning, they did the exact opposite. So I thought it was just the trend of the game. But thank God Jose Alvarado found a way. I do have a concern. While I'm pumped about the win, and it was a glorious victory, I am scared thinking about how much wear and tear we are putting on Jose every single time he gets an appearance, because I swear to God, I look at these box scores, 30-plus pitches, 30-plus pitches, 30-plus pitches, and I don't think that that's very sustainable. So you got to have somebody else step the hell up. I just don't know who that's going to be. I was actually kind of intrigued about Joe Ross, and then he gets shelled by Austin Riley. I don't know what Matt Strahm is going to be this season. I don't know what you have. So I don't know if there's an answer on this roster currently, and that makes me very scared. Unless somebody like Ranger Suarez comes in and he's able to be that versatility guy and we could throw him into the pen. But here's why I don't think that's going to happen. It's a contract year, and his agent is Scott Boras, so you know they're going to try and do everything humanly possible to make sure he gets paid the biggest bag he possibly can when he is due his cash, and that is not by going into the bullpen. So Scott Boras is one of the biggest agents in the game. He's going to pull all the strings, so I don't know if that's even going to happen. I'm conflicted about the pen. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm fucking nervous. I'm not conflicted. That was a horrible way to describe it. I have a lot of pain in my body thinking about what this bullpen is going to put us through on a night-to-night basis. But for tonight, and specifically looking at what just happened on the field in Truist Park, that was a big win. And there are two men in particular that deserve a monster standing ovation. No pun intended, because one of them is Trea Turner. But it's Bryce and it's Trea. Let's start with what Bryce did. That at-bat, that fucking beautiful at-bat was so sexy. I don't even know how to describe how sexy it was, but it was sexy. To fall down 0-2 with those sliders, and then here's another slider, ball, 1-2. Here's a fastball, fouled. Now it's still 1-2. Slider, 2-2. Slider, 3-2, full count. And here is a meatball down the heart of the plate, and this guy obliterated it. That was so amazing. I was horny listening to the ball hit the perfect sweet spot of that bat. That wood, if you will. I was horny. The Trea Turner home run in the ninth to put you up 4-3. This guy's always a part of the criticism. He's always getting a ton of blame. He's constantly getting ripped. And in a series against your division rival, where, let's be honest, people were frustrated watching this game. They struck out a bunch. Alec Bohm was awful. Brandon Marsh was awful. You had plenty of times to actually get on the board and you failed. You know, you're dealing with Taiwan Walker pitching into the fifth inning, not allowing any earned runs against this team. And every time that he does something like this, it just buys you more time to not have to stress about the fifth starter and not put too much pressure on you about the fifth starter, because you're surviving and you're in chances to win games. So you got to take that. And here you go. You're doing nothing. Boom. Horrible. 0 for 5. Brandon Marsh doesn't even look competitive right now. Between the two, it's embarrassing. So, who's going to step up? The two highest paid superstars. And that's why you won this one. So for Trea to put this team in a position to now potentially win the series is huge. Huge. Now, I will say the Phillies, they showed heart. They did. They showed this attitude and this fight that I truly do appreciate and respect. It wasn't pretty. By no means was this pretty. And I do think my biggest takeaway is this bullpen is going to run us into the ground by the end of the season. So that's my biggest concern. And then I also know that my second biggest takeaway is I don't know what we got in Brandon Marsh. No. I do know what we have. We have players that are not good enough. No wonder why Dave Dombrowski couldn't find respected value for Alec Boehm, because he's just not good enough. And he definitely can't be hitting in the middle of your order. What are we doing? We finally got a version of Nick Castellanos, in my eyes, that I feel is doable. It's manageable. Okay, let's go. It's more than manageable. Let's go. Let's put him behind Bryce Harper, because Alec Boehm stinks. And I'm pretty disappointed in his piss poor defense, where he bobbled the ball, couldn't turn two, instead only got one out over at first base. And then, of course, the Braves do damage in that same inning with 2 outs on the board. Maybe you're out of that inning, then maybe you actually have a shutdown inning. But every time the Phillies finally creeped in and got a run, right, you finally take a lead 1-0, then you're down. What? Come on. Even Joe Ross, who I actually thought was something that maybe could be something, because I'm so damn desperate and I'm starving for a right-handed relief pitcher, but I don't got faith in anybody. Sure, Ruiz got out of that 5th inning with bases loaded with Taiwan Walker, which puts a smile on my face, but what transpired in the 6th? Not good enough. What's been happening with Kerkering? Not good enough. We know what's been happening with Romano. You do not have a right-handed arm in that pen right now that you feel good about. And let's be honest, there's probably, 2 arms that you like? Strom and Alvarado? Woof. That's a really bad spot to be in. And I got to give a lot of respect to Taiwan. What an awesome effort. Seriously. I know his pitch count was high for only 4 2/3. He's going to walk a lot of guys, but this is what he is. There's going to be a bunch of traffic. Can he get out of that inning? That's going to be the question every single time that he gets a start. But in my personal opinion, now I know the Phillies won't handle it the same exact way I would personally handle it, but the truth is, the way I see the Taiwan Walker experience, the moment I get 2 back-to-back outings where it's 3 innings, 7 earned runs, crushed, this team's got 0 chance to win on that night because he's just getting torched and he sucks and he's nowhere even close to the plate. He's walking too many guys. He's allowing too many hits. He's getting balls over the fence consistently. If I get 2 of those back to back, I'm done. Rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go. We got to do something different. Figure it the hell out. They probably have a longer leash than me, but I digress. The point is this. Every single time you get a start of this caliber, not that it's phenomenal, not that it's one of the sexiest starts you've seen, but it pushes everything back. Once through the rotation more. Once through the rotation more. Once through the rotation more. And that truly buys you time. And when it buys you time, it allows for less tension, less stress, less obnoxiousness with the noise. Now, the noise is very valid. It's very reasonable. They deserve to hear that noise whenever you get the ugly version of Taiwan Walker. But good for him, because I'm sure it was not easy to deal with what went down on opening day, to hear all the boos, and then he's starting to give us outings that is fine for a 5th starter. There's just something about the way that he's handled everything. Not that he's been perfect, because the whole social media stuff with Rob Thompson, when he won all those games his first time around, but he wasn't on the playoff roster, was not very professional. But since then, he's been 2 thumbs up. While I'm watching Alec Boehm cry again, I'm watching Alec Boehm slump the shoulders again. It is just rough. And remember, he started the season off with something spectacular, and he thought, hey, this is great. But I warned everybody, it's easy to be all hunky-dory when it's the first game, the first series, the first few at-bats, and you do things that are well. It's easy when the grind didn't even start. And truth be told, this Boehm stuff is hitting even earlier than I expected. I thought we'd get here at some point, because a tiger never changes his stripes, which that's the corniest saying I've ever said in my life. But it's just so true, and it fits this scenario perfectly to a T. But I expected to get here. I thought maybe after May. I thought once we get into the dog days of the summer and it's June, it's July, you're battling, you're playing a lot of ball, you're getting worn out a little bit, you're waiting for the All-Star break, you're going through some rough at-bats, it's draining and it's getting to you, it's hitting home. Fellas, it's April 9th. You're in the, third series of the year? Is this the third series? They started out with Washington, Colorado? And then the Dodgers. No, it's the fourth. It's the fourth series of the year, and Alec Boehm looks lost. Straight up lost. And Brandon Marsh can't play. Think of it like this. How many years has Brandon Marsh been in the mix to try and win that starting job when his competition is Johan Rojas, who stinks offensively and is having balls drop right in front of his feet out in center field as a, quote, elite defender. And I do think he's a good defender, don't get me wrong, but that's all he's there to do. And he can't even beat out Johan Rojas. If you can't beat out Johan Rojas, woof, that's just the truth.